for Patrick Mahomes yesterday. We've all been wondering about his high ankle sprain. How is he going to practice? Was he going to practice at all? Instead of just kind of going out there and practicing, he actually practiced fully, setting the stage for Patrick Mahomes to play on a short week, on a high ankle sprain, in a huge game with the potential of locking up the #1 seed. It is all there for Kansas City, and it does seem at least possible that they're going to have their star quarterback out there.
This is mind-bending, the situation with Patrick Mahomes. Thank you so much, because you consider what the Chiefs could have. They could attain the #1 overall seed in the playoffs. They have a bye week in the playoffs. This is heavy, heavy stuff when it comes to the health and well-being of your entire team. But if they drop and the Bills come running, then you have to play your quarterback knowing that you just don't have that sealed up yet. So the Chiefs are no stranger to that #1 overall seed. But how do the Chiefs manage this situation, Peter, moving forward, now that we know a little bit more than we did yesterday when we had this conversation about Patrick Mahomes in the game on Saturday?
Jamie, you were spot on. It's almost like you need to take out a calculator or an abacus and kind of do the math here and see. Because if they had one more win or the Bills had one less win, then you could just rest them and we're good, we're fine. They need to win 2 of the next 3 to confirm that they are going to still be the #1 seed. 2 of the next 3. However, their next 3 games involve the Texans, the Steelers, and the Broncos, 3 teams that are all going to be playing their hearts out to try to get into the playoffs or try to solidify where they are in the playoff field. So what do you do with Mahomes? Well, he was a full participant yesterday. But he even said it. He's like, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. You don't want to do anything to get in the way of the team. And if I'm just sitting there in the pocket and I'm not moving, that could be harmful. The Texans have the second most sacks in the league. They have this great defensive line, and it's a short week. I would think you give Carson Wentz the start this week. Let's just say you go with Wentz, all right? And you put Wentz in, and Wentz does well enough. Whether you win or lose, they are home. It's not like they're going to fall apart and lose 31-3 here. They still have one of the best defenses in the league, and Wentz has played in this league. Then you have a 4-day rest to prepare for another game. Now, I think if you win, you bench Mahomes the rest of the way. If you can beat the Texans with Patrick Mahomes out, you bench him and you let Wentz go Christmas and you let Wentz go Denver, and we figure it out from there. If you lose, and Buffalo, of course, wins against the Patriots, well, then you're one more loss away from losing that home seed. I think the focus right now should be on Christmas. And do you play Mahomes on Christmas? And I think you have to play him if you lose this weekend. Sure. So that's how I would manage it. I would go with Wentz. I would give it my all. I would try to win with Wentz. And if you win, Pat, enjoy your Christmas. Sorry, Netflix. Sorry, NFL. It's a really weird conversation, but that's what I would do. And then if you lose, it's like, Mahomes, ice it up, shoot it up, whatever you got to do. Roll it out there. We're playing. We got to win this game against Pittsburgh.
Oh, Peter, you're speaking my language. Ice it up, shoot it up. Those are the things that make you feel good. You get rid of the inflammation.
When you're playing.
Boom. And when you're playing. Yeah. When you're playing. Yeah. I want to make sure that's clear. But I look at Carson Wentz, and I hear Andy Reid saying that he could be a starter anywhere else, and that gives me a lot of confidence. Now, the athlete and the dog inside of me says, I want to see Patrick Mahomes all the time. I want to see him go out there, do the Willis Reed, limp out there, throw the heroic touchdowns, and win the game. But when you're talking about doing the mathematics of it all, then you want to say, well, hold on. If Andy Reid believes in Carson Wentz, he could be a starter anywhere, I believe him. Because if anybody can do that and make somebody who a lot of people have given up on and turn them into a hero, it's Andy Reid. A la Alex Smith when he came over and Alex Smith became the star. So I say exactly what you're saying, to put in Carson Wentz, give him an opportunity to rest, meaning Patrick Mahomes. Give him that opportunity to rest, because it is going to be critical, because the end goal is that Super Bowl. And right now they're still hot, they're still winning, and Carson Wentz, he knows how to win. He's done it before. So Carson Wentz, let's go, man. You're the Netflix show. Everyone's streaming you right now, and I can hear that loud in sound coming, the Netflix in sound. Boom, just like that.
Ba-dum,
There
ba-dum.
it is.
I'm with you guys. I think they should play Carson Wentz. I think they will play Carson Wentz. And this is fascinating, because this is not some run-of-the-mill backup quarterback who comes in and you sort of vaguely remember him. Everybody, you, me, us, we have a deep history with Carson Wentz. It's a long, long story to get here. And now he's sitting in a position where, in a roundabout way, Carson Wentz could determine who plays in the Super Bowl. That's this big of a role right now that he's in. So why don't we just get up to speed a little bit? Let's go back on a quick journey and remember how we got here, who Carson Wentz is, who he isn't. Roll the videotape. You know how this went. Number 2 overall pick to the Eagles. The Rams took Jared Goff. Carson Wentz would end up playing for the Rams. I'll get there shortly.
Yep.
It happened, but you know the deal. MVP frontrunner, incredible. He was probably the biggest story in the league. Blows out his knee in the LA Coliseum. The team goes on to win the Super Bowl with the backup. He has a faith-based food truck that Mike Garafolo covered extensively called Thy Kingdom Come, but an incredible player who at one point felt like he was the future of the NFL. Eventually, they draft Jalen Hurts, and Carson Wentz is gone. 2021, he goes to the Indianapolis Colts, and he was very good. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks. But the Colts were 9-6, and they lost their last 2 games to the Raiders and a 2-14 Jaguars team to miss the playoffs. He was traded for a mid-round pick swap. Side note, the defensive coordinator of that Colts team was hired by the Bears to become their head coach. Next, he goes to Washington, an old Eagles rival. I remember he showed up to the press conference in a garish suit that he heard a lot about, which is still now his Wikipedia profile pic, which I don't think is fair. Played pretty well. Each of his first 2 starts, he had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. I don't remember that. He broke his ring finger on his throwing hand in week 6, went on IR. Taylor Heineke took over, and Wentz never got the job back. He was released. Then we get this iconic photo. You remember this one? This is when Wentz is like, what is going on with my career? We got an Eagles helmet, a Washington jersey, Colts shorts, and that could be it, the triumvirate. Not even close. 2023, in the middle of the season, signs with the Rams. This is last year. He played for the Rams. This is the best part. Week 18, he plays for the Rams. It's the Carson Wentz Rams versus the Sam Darnold Niners. How weird is that? Woo! Wentz again played pretty well, got a comeback win in the end with the 2-point conversion to Tutu Atwell. And it's like, oh, maybe he'll stay in the Rams. Nope, didn't stay in the Rams. He was released. Finally, back in April, Carson Wentz, on stop number 5, is signed by the world champion Chiefs to back up Patrick Mahomes. It happened, not midseason, not in training camp, way back in the offseason. This is last week. Mahomes gets hurt, Wentz comes in, plays pretty well, fine. Now we're at the point where I think he's going to start a game with the 1 seed in the AFC on the line. This is a quarterback with over 23,000 yards, with over 150 touchdowns. He is far more pedigreed and successful than any backup in the Patrick Mahomes era. He is one of the most trusted, experienced backups in all of the NFL. I don't know if he's going to put up huge stats this week. You know who else doesn't put up huge stats? Patrick Mahomes. This is a different Chiefs team. Come in, run, defense, throw here, win. I think if he wins this game and he looks good, you get a luxury of, maybe we run Carson back again on Christmas and let Patrick rest up. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we woke up a few days ago, and Carson Wentz is one of the most pivotal players in the entire NFL, and we got a deep history. It's fascinating.
And how fitting is it? Look at that Chiefs roster. It's all about redemption and second chances. Kareem Hunt, Matt Ariza, Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins is now, the star number 1 wide receiver after he was written off by so many people. You go up and down that roster, it is Andy Reid saying, oh, the rest of the league thought that they couldn't have you on their roster or that you were done. Let me give you an opportunity. Carson Wentz would be the ultimate redemption story, especially if he wins this game. And then I'm telling you, if on Christmas Day Carson Wentz trots out there and beats the Steelers in Pittsburgh, it's an amazing story, and it adds to this Chiefs dynasty. It's just another wrinkle in it, just like Chad Henne's famous run against the Browns.